Have you ever felt like you understand people a little too well? Like you can sense moods, tension, or hidden intentions without anyone saying a word, and sometimes you wish you didn't, because this awareness doesn't feel like a gift. It feels heavy. It feels exhausting. What if I told you this isn't just overthinking? It could be something deeper. It's called traumatic intelligence, a rare kind of emotional and psychological awareness that develops, not from books, but from experience, painful experience. This kind of intelligence doesn't come from a classroom. It comes from moments where you had to read between the lines, where understanding people wasn't optional, it was survival. And if you have it, you'll recognize these signs immediately. Sign 1. You read people instantly. You walk into a room, and within seconds, you already know the vibe. Who's uncomfortable? Who's pretending? Who's hiding something? You notice the small things, the tone of voice, the pause before someone answers, the way their eyes shift when they lie. Most people don't pick up on this, but you do, because your brain has been trained to scan for emotional danger. At some point in your life, reading people wasn't just helpful, it was necessary. So now, even when you don't want to analyze everything, you can't turn it off. Sign 2. You overthink simple interactions. A normal conversation for others becomes a deep analysis for you. Why did they say it like that? Did I say something wrong? Are they upset with me? You replay moments again and again in your head, not because you enjoy it, but because your mind is trying to protect you from making mistakes. Mistakes that once had consequences. So now, your brain double-checks everything, words, tone, expressions. It's exhausting, but it comes from a place of survival. Sign 3. You struggle to relax around people even in calm situations. You feel slightly on edge, like you're waiting for something to go wrong. You might laugh, talk, and act normal, but deep inside, your guard is still up. You're always aware of your surroundings, always monitoring people's reactions, because somewhere in your past, safe moments didn't always stay safe. So now, your mind stays alert even when there's no real danger. Sign 4. You're highly emotionally aware. You don't just understand your own emotions, you understand everyone else's too. Sometimes even better than they understand themselves. You can feel when someone is hurting, even if they're smiling. You can sense tension before it turns into conflict. This makes you incredibly empathetic. But it also means you carry emotions that aren't even yours. You absorb the energy around you, and over time, it becomes overwhelming. Sign 5. You avoid conflict at all costs. You don't like arguments, not because you're weak, but because you know how bad things can get. You've seen how quickly situations can escalate, how small disagreements can turn into something much bigger. So you choose peace. You stay quiet. You let things go. You keep your thoughts to yourself. But inside, there's a lot you don't say. Sign 6. You're extremely independent. You've learned one thing very clearly. Relying on others isn't always safe. So you depend on yourself. Emotionally, mentally, even physically. You handle your own problems. You don't easily ask for help. And you rarely show vulnerability. To others, you seem strong. But the truth is, you became strong because you had no other choice. Sign 7. You feel different from everyone else. You've probably felt this your whole life. Like you don't fully fit in. Like you see things differently than others do. Conversations that feel normal to others sometimes feel shallow to you, because your mind is always looking deeper. You don't just hear words, you look for meaning. And that can make you feel isolated. Like no one truly understands how your mind works. But here's the truth. This kind of intelligence is both a gift and a burden. It gives you awareness most people will never have. But it also comes with emotional weight most people will never understand. And the most important part is this: just because you developed this from difficult experiences doesn't mean you're broken. It means you adapted. Now here's something most people never tell you. Traumatic intelligence isn't just about pain. It's also where your hidden strength lives. Everything you went through, all the overthinking, all the emotional awareness, it didn't just hurt you. It shaped you. And if you learn how to use it the right way, it can become one of your greatest advantages. Let's talk about how. 1. You have unmatched emotional insight. Because you've spent so much time analyzing people, you now understand human behavior on a deeper level. You don't just hear what people say, you understand why they say it. This makes you incredibly powerful in conversations. You can connect with people faster. You can sense what they need. Emotionally, you can respond in ways that make others feel understood. And in a world where most people just listen to reply, you listen to understand. That's rare. 2. You can handle situations others can't. Stress doesn't break you easily. Why? Because you've already experienced emotional intensity before. Situations that overwhelm others feel familiar to you. You stay calm under pressure. You think clearly in chaos. Not because you were born this way, but because life trained you this way. And that kind of mental strength, it can't be taught. 3. You see through fake people instantly. You don't fall for masks. You don't get easily manipulated because you've seen the difference between words and actions. You notice inconsistencies. You pick up on hidden intentions. You trust patterns, not promises. This protects you. It helps you avoid toxic people before they get too close. But at the same time, it can make it harder to trust genuinely good people. 4. You're deeply self-aware. You spend a lot of time in your own mind, thinking, reflecting, questioning. And while this can feel overwhelming, it also means you understand yourself better than most. You know your triggers. You know your patterns. You know your emotional depth. And self-awareness is the foundation of growth. The more you understand yourself, the more control you gain over your life. 5. You value real connections over surface level. One small talk doesn't satisfy you. You crave depth. You want conversations that mean something, connections that feel real, people who are honest and emotionally open. Because you've experienced emotional complexity, you can't settle for something fake. And while this may shrink your circle, it strengthens the quality of your relationships. 6. You're more resilient than you realize. You might feel tired. You might feel emotionally drained. But the truth is, you've survived things that changed you, and you're still here. That means something. Resilience isn't about never feeling pain. It's about continuing despite it. And whether you realize it or not, you've already proven your strength. 7. You have the ability to transform your pain into power. This is the most important part right now. Your mind might still be in survival mode. Always alert, always analyzing, always protecting. But that doesn't have to be permanent. When you become aware of these patterns, you can start to shift them. Instead of overthinking, you begin to understand. Instead of absorbing emotions, you learn to protect your energy. Instead of living in fear, you start living with control. And slowly, that same intelligence that once protected you from pain starts helping you build a better life. But let's be honest for a moment, this journey isn't easy. Unlearning survival habits takes time. It requires patience. It requires awareness. And most importantly, it requires you to stop seeing yourself as damaged and start seeing yourself as adapted, because that's what you are. You didn't become this way by accident. You became this way because you had to. So if you saw yourself in these signs, if this felt a little too accurate, just know this: you're not too sensitive. You're not overthinking for no reason. And you're definitely not broken. You're someone who learned to understand the world in a way most people never will. And yes, it came from difficult experiences, but it also gave you something rare, a different kind of intelligence, one that doesn't just think, but feels, observes, and understands on a deeper level. And once you learn how to control it, instead of letting it control you, that's when everything changes.